Now we're not standing, so we're going to come into squat from sitting. Simply bring your feet in towards you. Have your hips, your feet fairly wide apart, and then move your hips forward until you're in a squat. A lot of people, they don't like squats so much because they can't get to the squat from standing. When you're coming from standing, the knees have to go quite far over the toes in order to get here. And some people don't have the ankle flexibility to do that. But when you start from sitting, as we just did, you don't need a lot of ankle flexibility to come into the squat. So now the hips are fully flexed again, the knees are quite flexed, and the ankles are dorsiflexed. Before we had them plantar flexed, toes pointing away. Now we're dorsiflexing. So we're moving the ankles in the opposite direction. And we're just going to hang out here. Now, for some people, this is not an available position. So if for whatever reason squat doesn't work for you, just come into a butterfly. So each time we come into squat, you do butterfly. Another option for people who are very restricted in the ankles is to have the heels sitting on a block, or you can even roll up your yoga mat and use that, or just some books. And you can start with very thick books and over time go to smaller, thinner books. Some people need to have the feet pointing outward, and that's okay too. It really doesn't matter how you look in this pose. We're flexing the knees, we're flexing the hips, we're dorsiflexing the ankle. And as long as you're doing some approximation of this, then your squat's perfect for what we want. If you like, you can bring the back of your hands together and add a little bit of a nice stress for the wrists here. Many people in the squat, they're fascinated by their floor. That's because when the head comes forward, it helps to counterbalance the weight of the hips going backwards. But if you have good balance, you can lift your heart up, lift your head up, and look straight ahead. And if that causes you to fall backwards, then it's okay to have your head down. I'm doing all this talking just to help pass the time away because squats can be a bit challenging. But in about 2 more breaths, we're going to do a lovely counter pose that'll make you forget all about the challenge of this squat. So just hang out here. Imagine you're in some Asian souk or shopping area, and this is how you're looking at the carpets and shopping in the stores. Now, the counter pose for squat is called dangling, and it's simply a straightish legged forward fold. So from here, have your feet outward, hands to the floor, lift your hips up, drop your head down, keep your knees bent and hands on the floor. And just allow yourself to hang here. Now the palms can be on the floor or the fists on the floor, or if you need to, you can even have a block underneath your hands. The legs don't have to be completely straight. You work towards straightening the legs, allowing your upper body to be completely relaxed. So this is a bit of a yin and a yang pose. The upper body is in yin mode. Your lower body is in yang mode. So think of your legs like granite cliffs. Your upper body is like water flowing over a waterfall. The water is completely yielding. Your upper body is yielding. Let your head just dangle. No effort in the arms and the shoulders. But your legs are working a bit. A little bit of strengthening for the knees. We only have about 2 more breaths here. Now, some of you have done this before. You know that there's a lovely counter pose for dangling. And this counter pose is called squat. Now, before squatting, bring your heels in, turn the feet out, lower the hips, and we're back into the squat part 2. But this time, I'm going to be quiet. I'll just let you enjoy a couple of minutes of squatting. Remember, if squatting gets too much, do butterfly. About 3 more breaths. And to prepare us for the next pose, if you have a cushion, bring it underneath your hips. Sit on the cushion, slide the legs straight,